Hello everyone, and welcome to Let's Play Splatterhouse Part 2. I'm Raslazel, your faithful guide. Here we are in Stage 5, picking up pretty much exactly where we left off. It's a hallway full of chairs, I mean, what can you say? But for that, it's still one of my favorite stages because of sections like this. This is one of the best platforming stages in the game, with those jumping hands and these floating head guys. I really don't like the heads there. They just drive me crazy. But these slanting platforms actually will drop you down into those purple pits with the hands. And it just makes it a lot of fun. It makes it so you have to stay active and stay on top of Rick's movements before you fall to your death. Anyway, as you saw, there are two paths there. One goes up, one goes down. And the down path's actually easier, but I like to take the upper path because it's shorter. But it doesn't always work out for me because those floating skull dropping girls, I don't know, the ghost girls that drop those skulls are awful. Because they do things like that. And they like to dodge your hits and just randomly fly around the place, and it's bad. But yeah, down here you can see there's another one of those spiky ball swamp monster stages. They're actually threatening this time because you don't have a 2x4 to beat them up with. This looks like a purple worm room. It's actually not. It's got the zombies and that guy that likes to resurrect the zombies. They can quickly overwhelm you if you let them, but mostly it's just a matter of keeping on top of this guy and not jumping into him when you only have one heart left. Here we go again. But yeah, taking out these zombies isn't really that hard. They only take 2 hits or 1 sliding kick, which is equivalent to 2 hits. But as you can see, that guy revives them. And that's painful for you for a number of reasons. Biggest of which is that one zombie corpse actually represents 3 more. And if you get to this point, you have 6 zombies coming at you from both sides, and so you want to kill him pretty quick and just stay on top of things there. This is just another worm room. It's pretty much the same thing as the first one. This stage actually appears probably 3 times, or stages like it, I should say. Actually appears probably 3 times during the course of the game, depending on the route you take. There are multiple routes through a couple of the latter levels, and finding your way to them is part of the fun. Here is my favorite boss of the game. Well, here it is. Jennifer, the protagonist's girlfriend, just transforms into this hideous, hideous beast. I mean, what are you going to do about that? Besides die, because you only have 1 heart left because the zombies got the better of you. One of the alternative routes through this stage brings you through another mirror room, which I mentioned earlier. I was going to take that path, but I got knocked down. The other mirror room, it's like I said, I mentioned it in the last video. It's really tense because one of the last mirrors produces a shadow Rick, and he appears actually in front of the door, and you have to kill him to get out of it, and it's pretty cool, but it always makes me cautious in mirror rooms because I can never remember or you know, it's just ingrained into me. With this boss, basically all you do is let it jump over you and then hit it. And it's pretty simple. You can be fancy and get a sliding kick, but you usually pay for it just like I did there. Here in the last stage of the fight, it gets shorter jumps. It's really not that big a deal. But it's still one of the better bosses in the game. It's not like the Poltergeist room. Oh my god. So, Jennifer dies. Oh boy. And we're jumping down into the creamy organic center of the house with these demon fetus things that are just horrible for me. I don't know. I think they're gross looking, but beyond that, I'm just bad at fighting them because, again, it's just that micromanaging things just flying at you from all directions. And I'm really, really bad at it, as you're going to see. If you don't know, I'm actually recording the commentary while I'm watching the video. I'm not able to record running commentary at this time, something I hope to remedy very soon. I did end up getting a better microphone. As you can probably hear, the difference in the audio is huge. I did some testing with it and some, played around with it a bit, and it's a big difference from the last video where I was recording with my laptop mic. So that's definitely an improvement for my videos. But while we're doing this, because I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to die. I don't mean to ruin the surprise for you, but yeah, it happens, and there's the boss. But while we're doing this, I kind of want to say a few things. First about the turbo graphics and how just underrated it was. For the time, I think, personally, that it has better graphics than the Super Nintendo or the Sega Genesis ever did. It had an add-on kind of like the Sega CD that allowed you to run games on CD, and one of the titles for it was Return to Castle Shadowgate, I think. I think that's what it was called, but it's a sequel to the NES game Shadowgate. Actually, it's a third-person action game, kind of like a King's Quest. But the animation is really smooth, and a lot of good stuff happens in that game. It's a lot of fun, and it came out on a CD. And back at the time that this was made in the early 90s, that was just unheard of. That's incredible. So, they were one of the first to have that, and it was just great. I can't believe it didn't get more attention. Even the regular games weren't cartridge titles like your Super Nintendo, where it had the big bulky cartridge that you sat in the system, or the Genesis had the same thing. You just sat that bulky cartridge in. It had actual cards, and they were a little longer than a playing card, and just about as wide. And you slid them into the system, and it read the whole game off of that one card. And it made storing them really easy. They came in cases that were kind of like CDs, but they had a little insert for the card. And just everything about the TurboGrafx was great and should have gotten more attention than it did. I also want to talk about, something, you might be wondering. On the title screen, as you saw in the last video, it says Namcot instead of Namco. And Namcot was the name that several Namco games have on them, particularly arcade releases, because they asked for help from a company called Data East. that is probably a name you've not heard of in a while. They helped with Mortal Kombat and, you know, just dozens and dozens of other games to get the arcade boards and things out there. So, yeah. And here, you know, back to the game, we're beating up the Demon Heart. We've killed it. In the arcade version of Splatterhouse, when you beat that thing, it's really creepy because it spills just a ton of like embryonic fluid on the ground and blood and makes this god-awful sound. And yeah, they kind of changed it for the home release because that it is a little disturbing to watch, to be fair, and it's very nasty. This whole last stage is actually designed to just, you know, injure you before the pathetically easy boss fight, which is why they're using so many dirty tricks to try and kill you. Unfortunately, I've played this game way too many times and just know everything's coming. And here comes the boss, summoned. It's a demon summoned by the Terror Mask itself from Jennifer's grave marker. Is the story behind that, I think. They took out a lot of the story elements. The arcade version had a couple of, they weren't cutscenes, but they were like things that it was a scene, you know, it was like a scene of, like a photo scene with words under it that would just, you know, with a caption that says, you know, what's going on. And they happen between the stages, I do believe. And even the opening was different. It showed, you know, Rick and Jennifer running into the mansion, and then Jennifer screaming, and Rick taking the terror mask, and yeah, they took out so much for the console version, but I couldn't really get the arcade version. And there, the super easy boss is dead, and for some reason I decided to crouch. I'll leave that up to you to decide what that was about. But yeah, I don't really understand that either. I think that is just the demon leaving the mansion, and hopefully we'll just get a nice house out of it. Though I think it's on fire there in the background from defeating the heart of the house, and the terror mask explodes. Yay! The credits roll, and there we go. All right. Well, first I want to thank you for watching. I am going to talk through the credits, however. So bear with me. I want to talk a little about some of the plans I have for this. I've got a whole list of games I want to do. And the reason I'm doing them is because I love retro gaming. I play, you know, way more retro games on emulators and my consoles than I ever do on like Xbox 360 or something. I have Skyrim, I've got Modern Warfare 3, and I hardly ever pick them up because I'm playing these retro titles and things like Minecraft and those kind of games on my PC because I just don't have the interest in them, I suppose. That I do in the old games, and I really want to get people excited about them, particularly titles that they may not have heard of. I know Splatterhouse isn't exactly a well-documented title, but it's a great game. You know, give it a shot. There are a couple of them, like Michael Jordan, Chaos in the Windy City for the Super Nintendo, and on the Genesis, McDonald's Treasure Island Adventure, that are just going to sound ridiculous until you play them. But they're fantastic games, and once you get into them and get past the stupid licensing and obvious product placement and things like that, they're really a lot of fun to get into. So, you know, and I'll probably do Let's Plays for those. Maybe not all the way through the game, but at least a little taste of what is there. Along with amusing stories of how I came across these games. Well, hopefully amusing stories of how I came across these games. And little bits of my life that I just want to share with you. But if even one person is watching this and just getting excited about some of these games, I'm very happy. So hopefully, you'll go and you'll take this and you'll go and find your TurboGrafx emulator and find the ROM and play Splatterhouse and go, man, he was right, and yeah. But whatever you do, if you like the video, please press the thumbs up and, leave me a comment because I will respond to it. I love to talk about retro gaming, if that's not obvious. I love to talk about gaming in general, though my opinions on the state of modern gaming probably aren't agreeable. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.